2013 CareerBoost initiative by the Instruct Pathways Youth Foundation continues with the lectures on cybersecurity by Mr. Daniel, while we had two expert speakers share insights on their respective topics on SDGs. The sessions were anchored by our moderator, Akin Success. Now, let's dive into the lectures.
Welcome back, everyone, to the day 3 this program on the cybersecurity program. Today's topic is going to be network security. This program is being brought to you by Instruct Pathways Youth Foundation, and I am Daniel but screen name Peregrine Jade Guard. And as I said before earlier, we are going to be looking at network security. This topic is going to help you to understand the fundamentals of network security. It's also going to help you to see how networks operate and the importance of securing them from cyber threats. By the end of this session, you will be able to understand the basics of network architecture, common network vulnerabilities, and methods used to secure networks from attacks. First things first, we have to explain what a network is. What is a network? A network is anything or a network is interconnection of computers. Now, after we look at what a network is, we're also going to look at why network is important, common network vulnerabilities, securing networks, monitoring network traffic, Wi-Fi network security. Okay, but first things first, as I say, network is a collection of computing devices that communicate digitally using wired or wireless devices or wireless connections. Now, we have types of network by the nature of the network itself. First things, as you can see, we have personal area network, we have local area network, we have metropolitan area network, we also have wide area network. Now, personal area network is the network around the person. Some of these networks are very short range. These are very short range networks. You can see your Bluetooth. Yes, your Bluetooth can be a personal area network, as you can see here. A mobile, just think of a phone, a smartphone, and a wireless headset, an earphone, and earbud connected through Bluetooth. This is a personal area network, point-to-point network, and there are only devices in this small network, so just 2 devices. The personal area network refers to a minimal network, a network which has a minimal or small number of networks that cover up a very short distance, like 10 meters, 15 meters, 15 meters, 30 meters or so, 10 meters. Now, next we go to local area network. Local area network is the LAN network you use for some of your localized examinations when you are using your computers for exams or for tests, or when you go home, connect to a router and modem, or a modem/modem. We'll get to that It has a larger area than a PAN, of course. The number of devices in it can be much more. Some can be 10, some can be 20, some can be 30. It is the most commonly used network and found network type. Sometimes a network with 2 devices can also be called LAN. So now if I'm using my phone to connect to the internet, and also using that phone to send network through maybe my system, my laptop, or my other phone, then it's also called what? LAN. The fact that it supports much more than 2 devices in terms of capacity and is geographically spread over a wide area of network. So wide area indicates that it is a LAN type network. For example, some networks, as I said before, shared networks within buildings can be LANs. MAN now, as you can see the diagram here, MAN is what? Metropolitan area network. It's a geographically city-sized computer network in which many LAN computer networks are connected. It connects networks with fiber optic cabling. Wide area network. This is what most of you know, or most of you are familiar with. Wide area network. It is the computer network with the largest geographical area among computer networks. This computer network is so large that it can even contain continents, and it hosts all other computer networks within it. Example is the computer network called internet, interconnected network. That is internet. As you can see, the internet is a very wide area network. Now, campus area network. Don't mind the name campus. Campus is just networking started probably from campuses. So campus area network is a specialized network that is geographically smaller than MAN. It can also be larger than MAN. It can also be almost exactly like WAN, which is wide area network. It can be larger than LAN, definitely larger than LAN, and then it contains several LANs. Usually this computer network is being used in universities, institutions, private companies, and then they are used where? In sensitive environments. These are the types of network that are being used in military. Let's just say, for example, the United States military has a network that connects itself to what? To the United States, to the northern United States, so northern American continent, North America. It also has nodes connected to South America. Also have nodes connecting to all over the world, to Hawaii. Hawaii is connected to some bases like in Okinawa base, also connected to bases in New Zealand, probably New Zealand and Philippines and Australia and Japan and South Korea. It's also connected to Portugal, to United Kingdom. So it's you can say a military-wide network, but it's the configuration is basically it's very similar to the CAN configuration. Now think of a network as a classroom where students can talk to each other and share materials. A LAN will be like a smaller classroom, while a WAN will be like multiple classrooms in different parts of the school communicating with each other. Now we also have network devices. We're going to look at the network devices. Our network devices have separate tasks, they have responsibilities. Without these components, a computer network will not work, or a computer network will not be able to fulfill its tasks. Therefore, knowing the tasks and capabilities of the network devices allow you to solve problems in the network and help you to understand the security breaches. In this way, a solution is reached by taking quick action. In this part of this training, information about network devices IT network will be discussed. I'm going to discuss this definitely with you. So the network devices I'm going to discuss are 8. Some people will skip some of these network devices, but I will not, because they are really important for you to understand. Okay, let's move. Switch, hub, gateway, router, modem, repeater, bridge, firewall. Okay, now a switch. The use of a switch is that it connects devices within a single network, LAN, and allows them to communicate with each other. As you can see in the animation here, the GIF animation. Also, this is a picture of a switch with 5 ports, a switch with 24 ports, a switch with 48 ports. I'll not be surprised if there are switches with more ports than this. Now, the next one is firewall. This acts, I mean a physical firewall, not the firewall you hear about on your system on when we are going to do practicals later on. But this firewall acts as a barrier between a trusted network and an untrusted network, like the internet. So it filters incoming and outgoing traffic. The next is the modem. Yes, this is a modem, what people will call router, right? Yes, you can call them router, modem, but it's practically a modem because it has a router inside. I'll talk about what a router is, but a modem, the modulator acts as a bridge between your home or office network and the internet. So it modulates and demodulates signals, converting the digital data from your network into a format suitable for transmission over telephone lines, cable systems, wireless signals, or fiber optics, and vice versa. Now a router, this is what a router is. A router does one thing. It directs traffic between different networks such as your home network and the internet. I see. A modem does what? A modem acts as a bridge between your network, your home network, with the internet, while a router does one thing. It directs traffic to different networks, to your different networks. Direct traffic from the internet to your home network, from your home network to your internet. Many internet service providers, which is ISPs, provide a device that combine both a modem and a router into one unit, simplifying the setup. So this, what you are saying here, is it's a modem, but there's also a router inside, a mini router inside. What people call router is actually a modem, but well, it's not confusing, but it's also a bit confusing because, as you can see, ISPs provide the putting routers inside modems. They put in routers inside modems. And however, using separate devices often offers better control, which is why we have these routers such as this Cisco router. It offers better control, customization, and network performance. Now this is just a simple way. This is as simple as you can see the computer and the network. The network here shown in lines. This is a router, directs traffic. This is a modem. I'm pretty sure there is a router inside this modem. This is a switch. All these devices. This is just a rough diagram in the way you can understand. Now next is a hub. Hub connects multiple devices in a network and broadcasts that data to all connected devices operating at the physical layer of the open systems interconnection model, OSI model. I'll advise you to go and study what the OSI model is. these are some of the advices I will give you by the end of this course, by the end of this 10-day course. A hub is very important because it connects multiple devices in a network. Now you might have a hub in your own, and I quote, router, or what some people call modem. You might have a hub there. A gateway connects different network architectures or protocols, translating the data between incompatible systems and typically operating systems at all layers of OC model, especially at the application layer. Now a repeater does one job, repeating. It repeats. It's just a booster. You have seen a booster. You might have seen a booster in a home network or a complex network, right? A booster is a repeater. It's a repeater. It's a bridge that connects two network segments and filters traffic between them, operating at the data link layer to reduce network congestion by dividing collision domains. It just helps in boosting the data. Let's say you have a building, an office, an office with 80 stories with a basement and a ground floor, another 79 or 81 stories building, and they are all owned by one company. And this company have to they'll probably not use a Wi-Fi network if they want to move from one floor to the other, maybe from floor 1 to floor 2, floor 2 to 3. They'll probably use wired network. So wired network sometimes can get loose signal. So to get a very good signal, you have to use a repeater or a booster, what marketers call boosters. Now we are calling bridge. We are going to go into what a bridge is. A bridge is a gateway that connects different network architecture. A bridge is it connects architectures between a bridge. My mistake. A bridge connects some of the architectures from one place to another. Now this is all how they work. As you can see, a bridge here, it connects to a hub. It also connects to this mini router or a mini switch, a router or a node or a repeater, depends. As you can see, this is a bit of complex, right? This is a complex it's really a complex system here, not like your previous ones that show a bit of a simplified version, right? This is what network system administrators or network administrators work with. Now, why is network important? It's important. Why is network important? Threats to network. Just as individual devices are vulnerable to cyber attacks, networks are also targets. If a network is compromised, then the attackers can gain access to multiple systems. So that's why we have network devices. And if those attack enters, the attack is successful to multiple systems, then there's going to be widespread damage. To prevent widespread damage, you should use network devices and configure them very well. Now, some of these methods for network attacks. Note, I say network attacks, not all attacks. We have MITM, which is man in the middle attack. The next is eavesdropping. The next is denial of service. You might see other network attacks, but I will explain these three first. An attacker in an MITM attack, an attacker will secretly intercept and possibly alter the communication between two parties who believe they are communicating with each other. While eavesdropping is that the attacker will monitor unencrypted network traffic to steal sensitive information such as password or credit data, credit card details. The next one, which is DOS, we have talked about DOS, which will flood the network with traffic to overload the system. It will not allow people, legitimate users, to use the system itself. Next is, this is a picture of some, I say some, not all, some network attacks. We have botnet attacks. The bot master will infect secure servers with malware. Then the servers, which are the bots, will their command and control services area, and the bots will just attack other servers. So there is a gate stop between, as you can see here, this is a bot master. He will create a network of servers to infect PCs. So these bots here. So this one will probably have firewall and mitigating factors, so mitigating systems to prevent tracking. And this will definitely have different IP address. This is a command and control server. So this computer, himself, the attacker, will give this command to this command and C2 services centers, and then the bots will carry out the attack. Now for MITM, this is you want to talk directly to the server. Let's just say you want to talk to google.com. If someone is connected to your network, if someone is connected to your network, let's just say public Wi-Fi, he might be able to interrupt your connection. Instead of talking to google.com, you'll be talking to him, then he will be talking to google.com. Google.com will give him information, then he will give you back. He will be the middleman. So I'm responding to client only, I'm responding to server, but they don't know that I am listening to their traffic, right? The DNS spoofing. Thank you to securityscience.com for this picture, this analogy. And the previous one, the previous image which had types of malware, was created by Cyberite. Also appreciate it. DNS spoofing is when they spoof the DNS through MITM, through this, and then they give you this information, fake DNS, and then you give it to a fake server instead of a real server. Now IP spoofing, ARP spoofing, you can use ARP spoofing for that. Now DDoS, you have seen how DDoS works. Okay, let's see now. This is DDoS, not DOS now. The attacker, this is the C2 servers, right? The C2 servers will send bots that are in US, bots that are in UK, bots that are in New Zealand, bots that are in Australia, and then they'll just target this victim. They will swarm him. You probably imagine how they will swarm this the victim server. This will be too much for him. Now rootkits are, you can use rootkits. They are also network attacks. You can use rootkits to cause a network attack. What is a DDoS? We have seen this before. How DDoS work. Now the Mirai botnet was a DDoS attack that used hundreds of thousands of compromised IoT devices. Note, it did not use basically computers or servers. it uses cameras, wireless cameras, routers. It probably can use your most IoT devices that are compromised, like your smartwatch, to attack large websites, and it took them down. It took them offline, and they had to provide they had to block those IPs first, then mitigate some things, solve it, and then bring back the website. Now this will take time to solve these attacks, and to also cost the business money. What are the common vulnerabilities that we have? One, I've talked about unsecure Wi-Fi networks. Unsecured Wi-Fi networks without encryption will allow the attackers to intercept data or use your network for illegal activities. Now is weak passwords. Weak passwords can be used. If your Wi-Fi network is protected by a weak password, the attacker can easily crack it. Open ports too are also common network vulnerabilities. Now, an example of this is when a student connects their device to an unsecure Wi-Fi network at a cafe. And some of you might have noticed I was quite noticeable when I talked about unsecured Wi-Fi network. When you connect to a Wi-Fi network, free Wi-Fi network, oh, you might be getting yourself into trouble. Yes, you'll be able to get internet, but then the people who are connected to that same network with you, do you trust them? One might be a bot, one might be an attacker. So an attacker on that same network will intercept their login information, their credentials, of course, for an email account or gaining access. Now, for securing your networks, what do? You create firewalls, or you have firewalls, physical firewalls and software firewalls. We are going to deal with our firewalls later on, creating the rules when we are doing a practical. Now, devices or software that monitor and control incoming and outgoing traffic, network traffic, based on predetermined security rules. Firewalls are basically allowers and blockers of specific traffic based on the rules. Now, I'm going to give you a concept. You can put rule 1, allow all traffic from the school's network. Rule 2, block all traffic from any unknown addresses, which means you are going to upload all the known IP addresses. Now, if any IP address wants to have traffic, or wants to connect outside or inside to your network, it will not be able to happen except the person spoof that the school's IP address. Firewalls can also act as security guards, deciding who can enter, just like security guards who allow you as a student to enter, but will not allow a non-student or non-staff to enter. That's how firewall works. This is how firewall works. Thanks to Bridge Kishore Pandey for this diagram and illustration. A firewall can help to protect private network from the internet. It helps to block any kind of, as you can see here, this is a private network here. It blocks incoming and outgoing. The firewall itself is a wall that burns what? Wrong or deadly traffic to your network or from your network. Now you can see this is a computer, right? This is probably an infected computer. So maybe a bot, sorry, maybe one of the malware is trying to send information. It have already stolen the information. Let's just say yes, spyware that's stolen the information, and that information that it has gotten, it needs to what? It needs to give it to the person who wants to receive it. Now it will not be able to do that because the rules prevent it from doing that. So nada, it can't send anything at all. Nada, it won't. Same with here. If someone wants to send what for you, wants to send a malware to you through your network when you are connected to a network, you will not be able to do it because of your firewall. All right, now let's look at the other parts of how firewalls work. Now a firewall can be hardware based, as I've said before. It can also be software based. We have some types of firewalls which are packet filtering firewalls. These filter packets. It can allow and disallow IP addresses. It can allow the packet type which is TCP, or if it's not TCP, you can use UDP or any other protocols or packet type. Now we also have circuit level gateway. So this one here, it cuts off the circuit level. It's a gate. It just focuses on the gateway, the circuit level gateway part, not any other part. There's also application level gateway. It inspects the application level gateway. There are stateful inspection firewalls. There are next generation firewalls. Next generation firewalls are the ones we are using these days because it does packet inspection, stateful inspection, deep packet inspection, IDS and IPS inspection, malware filtering. It does all that for you. Next, we also have encryption. Because of time, we're not going to look at what details of encryption and how encryption works. But encryption protects your data. It converts your data into a coded format, into an unreadable format, and then it's only readable by the authorized users. So it has a public key, private key, or a public key. Now we have types of encryption: WPA2 encryption, WPA3 encryption. We also have end-to-end encryption, which is commonly used in WhatsApp or messaging apps. Now, when students use encrypted apps, even if an attacker intercepts the communication, they cannot be read because it is encrypted. Now, for virtual private networks, virtual private networks are networks that protect people. It can also circumvent some kinds of blocking or censorship. Now it securely encrypts any kind of data traffic between a device and internet. It routes it to a private server. It's just like you saw how DDoS work, right? It's just like you using a C2 service center, a command and control service center. When you are using Tor, T-O-R, Tango Oscar Romeo, Tor network, when you are using Tor network, it's basically like you are using tree relay network or tree networks, hopping. Now you can use a VPN to protect yourself when you are connecting to a public Wi-Fi. This is one of the stopgaps. Then it also ensures that your data traffic is encrypted, even though it's being eavesdropped, even though it's been sniffed, even though it's been collected, you people will not be able to understand. The attacker will not be able to simply understand whatever information you are sending to someone else. Now, segmentations and VLANs. In network segmentation, here it involves dividing network into smaller parts to limit access to sensitive areas. Now, VLANs, which are virtual local area networks, allow segmentation. It allows segmentation of devices on the same physical network into different virtual networks. Now, let's look at how segmentation works. It's a cybersecurity technique, of course, used to divide a computer network into smaller and isolated segments of subnetworks. This strategy helps to improve security, performance, and manageability by restricting access, containing breaches, and minimizing the attack surface. Now, here's how it works. First, it creates a subnetwork or segment. There's a division of network, and then they use VLAN. Let me explain this now. The primary step in network segmentation is to divide a network into smaller and logical steps. Smaller and logical subnetworks, which are segments. Each segment acts as an independent unit which controls the flow of traffic within the boundaries. Then we use VLANs, virtual local area networks, to implement segmentation. The VLANs now can logically separate different departments or functions, even though they are on the same physical network infrastructure. So if one part, let's just say the HR, the human resource network is being attacked, it will be the only one that is being attacked. The other networks will be stopgap or closed gaps, so that they are not being attacked. They can have a separate firewall for themselves. They can have separate segments for themselves, so that if one is attacked, it will be contained and it will only disrupt HR or human resource instead of maybe the financial department. It also has, the segmented networks can also have security zones through their subnets. Now you can control traffic between the segments, as I've said before, and it has a zero trust principle. It also isolates sensitive resources. If there's a sensitive resource, you will be able to see when you get to the back end that the sensitive resources will have the most security and quarantine zones. Some of the benefits of field segmentation is that it enhances security, of course, as you can see how I explained it. It also improves the performance of the network by segmentation. It can reduce the congestion. It can help broadcast traffic to specific areas where a non-segmented network to be very slow and to be very tasking on the server. It also has a simplified compliance. It meets regulatory compliance that have been set by international organizations. Now, the best practice. I'm going to leave the best practice for segmentation. You can ask that question for segmentation on your board. Now we're going to go to monitoring. How do we monitor traffic? We monitor traffic through IDS and IPS. IDS is intrusion detection system, while IPS is intrusion prevention systems. Now these are tools that are used by cybersecurity professionals to monitor network traffic for signs of malicious activities. We have IDS, as I've told you, which monitors traffic, which monitors traffic and raises alert when suspicious activity is detected, while IPS, it blocks it, it prevents it. So they have different jobs, IDS and IPS. And I said before, in this firewall, we have next generation firewalls, next generation systems. These systems do their job by what? They do their job by detecting and prevention. So that's why you see IDPS, intrusion prevention, intrusion detection systems. Now let's get on with the practicals now. Okay, now we are going to go into Wireshark. Wireshark is a tool that helps in taking the data, look, sniffing, same with TCP dump, same with it sniffs network. It takes the packets of information of the network. All these are sniffing and spoofing tools. Network sniffers, DNS sniff. So a password, this packet sniffing based, of course. But Wireshark is what? It's a tool that dumps traffic. It's a tool that dump traffic. Okay. Now, before you look at any of these, first thing you need to check your ifconfig. What are we using now? We don't know what we're using, right? But we can come here and check. We're using Ethernet connection. So the only Ethernet connection here is H0, which is this, which is the one we're using here. So that's all for this. So we're going to capture this. So nothing is running, right? Nothing is running, but guess as I am going to ping google.com, ping google.com. Are you saying it's pinging? Well, it's not pinging, not yet. But what we're having, okay, temporary failure in resolution. It's looking, this is okay. Let's see how it failed. You see, we have some issues here now, but this is not a right pinging, or this is not a right resolution. So we're going to stop looking. We're going to stop the packets and open Firefox. I can open Firefox through here or here. Firefox, google.com. And it's going to open Firefox. Apart from that, this is just trying to show you that, okay, yes, you can get any packet of information. As you can see, I talked about packets. Now we're picking packets, and what's the protocol for this packet? ARP. Now while this is taking time, we're going to continue with this and ping. It's not pinging, no problem. Let's stop this. Ping covariance. Okay, it's entry covariance.com. Launch that. It's going to google.com, right? Oh, I stopped the pinging. I stopped the capture. Starting a new capture. Okay, we're not having any capture because, as you can see here, it's not picking up anything, which means my network here, it's not. Yeah, as you can see, yeah, sure, definitely detect that. Okay, now this situation tells you that the connection is blocked, or there's no connection, or there's no internet, so you cannot ping and you cannot. But you are seeing the packets, that ARP packets that is being shown most of the times to show TCP packets going here and there for some of these applications. Now, if you have questions, please ask the questions. We're going to go into a bit into talking about some of the commands we used or we are using. Now, I've taught you about CD. I've talked to you about CD. I've talked to you about some of them, but I have not mentioned others. I've mentioned RM, which is remove. I've also mentioned ls. Yeah, we saw ls dash l. Now I can do something like this. Now cd home. No, I can use, okay, let's open home here. Let's open the home. After we go to home, what we're going to do is just simple. We're going to make a directory. What is a directory? It's a folder. You want to make directory, so mkdir sire, inside sire. So I've made a directory. So now I'm going to have to remove it. Sorry, I have to remove it. Control Shift Delete, and I remove it. Now ls.l will show you information. So now here you notice last time we did lsl, we had d, right? D, directory, right? D is for directory, and this is for read, this is for write, this is also for read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. It only has a read and write. It doesn't have permission to execute, so it's not an application that can execute something. Now the next is pwd. Pwd is to print working directory. You're just asking, where am I? You're just asking, where am I? Where am I? You can also ask this question, who am I? You are Kali. Now let's create, we can also create users. Echo, we also have echo command, echo hello, echo hello. So echo hello, just like print in programming language. Now apart, we last time that we checked, we dealt with the nmap, which is one of the important tools for sniffing networks. Now, apart from the sniffing networks or others, we're also going to do other things. But before we go today, I'm going to introduce you to the next topic. Next topic is all about endpoint security, where you will learn how to protect the individual devices, which is the endpoints. Okay, you are going to look at the endpoints, which are the individual devices, how to protect them within a network from malware. That's one. From malware, that's one. From other things like unauthorized access and other cyber threats. Any other cyber threats that occur or threatens you, you'll be able to deal with them as we look at the next topic.
Hi everyone, my name is Tolulope Adewemimo. This program is the Career Boost Initiative for African youth. Its main focus is to create awareness on SDGs for African youth. And here I would be talking on SDG 3, which talks about good health and well-being. So thank you for having me. They are doing a lot in the space of, talking of adolescents and young people. They are doing a lot. They have so many. You can check them and see more on what they do. So let's go straight to the business of the day. So I would be talking on the topic, should comprehensive sexuality education, CSE, be a mandatory part of the school curriculum? Okay, just before you say a yes or a no, just let's have a look of what I have to actually, talk about this topic, to do justice to this topic. So I want to introduce comprehensive sexuality education. It's a curriculum-based process of teaching and learning about cognitive, emotional, physical, and social aspects of sexuality. And that is why you have the word comprehensive, because it's in itself, it is comprehensive, in that it entails, when you hear sexuality, what comes to mind is sex or sex education, as the case may be. But in this context, where you have comprehensive sexuality education, it is more than just the physical aspect of sexuality. It talks about emotional, physical, social aspects of sexuality, and also the cognitive aspects of it. It's just a equip adolescents and young people with knowledge and skills that they need to empower them to realize, their health and well-being in terms of a sexual relationship, to consider how their choices affect their well-being, to help them navigate through this adolescent stage. And we all know how significant that stage is in life. Adolescence is a time where the individual is no more a child and is not an adult yet. It's just a transitioning time. And it is a very important and critical aspect of life. So comprehensive sexuality education is one of, the problem. I hope my screen is moving. Okay. These are problems of adolescents and young people. So it's one of them when you talk about sexual reproductive health and rights, when you talk about, different sexual, like I said, social, physical, and, cognitive aspects of sexuality. So it's a problem that these adolescents and young people face, which we tend to shy away from. So the comprehensiveness of comprehensive sexuality education, I said it is comprehensive in that it provides an understanding of sexual reproductive health and rights, such that if an adolescent and or young person or young people are they are well rooted in comprehensive sexuality education, they tend to have the capacity, the skills to to ask for their sexual and reproductive health and rights. They tend to understand what it is with their body, what it is with, with how to navigate through life when it comes to their sexuality. So it equips them with more life skills that they need to make well-informed decisions, to keep them well protected, their health and well-being, including their rights. And the comprehensive sexual education, it deals with when you're talking about the knowledge, that is the knowledge that is being gained, then the skills that is being acquired, then attitude. That's that's the cognitive aspect of it come into play. Then what are the core principles of CSE? We have its comprehensiveness because it addresses a wide range of topics. Talk of how to build and also critical thinking. All these are embedded in comprehensive sexuality education, sex education, sexual reproductive health and rights. Now, these are the core principles of CSE. It has to be comprehensive enough for you to say it is CSE. Then it has to be age appropriate. The content and teaching methods should be tailored to the age level of the user, the adolescents and young people. It has to be tailored towards, how younger children may have to focus on understanding their body first and to have respect for body too. Then older students may tend to address topics that are more sensitive, like consent and the relationship dynamics, and how to actually build relationships that are appropriate. Then it has to be culturally relevant, because of the sensitivity of CSE. That's why most people don't want to talk about it. CSE as a corporate, and these it is in the context of where you're actually delivering this comprehensive sexuality education, which you respect what are their core values, what are the values, what are the religions. You cannot separate religions from especially in the African settings. Then it should engage communities to reflect what are their norms, what are their not on their core values. And it has to be scientifically accurate. All information, it should be correct, they should be verified, it should not be emotions, it should be something that is relatable to these students, these adolescents and young people. It has to be relatable, it has to be reliable facts and figures on sexual health, reproduction, and then relationships too. So human rights based. It has to be human rights based, free from all form of discrimination, and it should also promote the understanding of sexual rights as human rights, just like we have, having access to equitable health services. That's just CSC is just also part of all these health services that one should actually have access to. Is part of human rights, including the right to access information about sexual reproductive health, and also the right to access sexual and reproductive health services without being discriminated, without being judged. Like the next one is non-judgmental. Comprehensive sexuality should provide a safe space for all students where they feel comfortable organ, they are also part of your body. You can't separate sex, so you can't say because okay, it is a private part of the body. You didn't talk. It's the normal anatomy. It's part of, and we should it should encourage for we should encourage students to actually participate by promoting discussion uh, uh, their sexuality, and by so doing not be judged. So the gender equitable, gender equitable, such as it will reduce gender-based violence and discrimination. A boy, they should actually understand the peculiarity of it should be all inclusive. It should fit under, regardless of the social health, comprehensive sexuality education for all. And that is why we are preaching stable health for all. Health, regardless of the gender, the sexual orientation, disability, should be inclusive based. It should be skills based. That's why I said it's comprehensive. You are talking about critical thinking, problem solving, resilience, negotiation, communication. Build the adolescent is understands his or her body, and he understands the peculiarity of, okay, I'm a girl and this is peculiar to me. He's a boy, this is peculiar to him. It's not about knowledge, it focuses on life skills such as making decision, critical thinking. And all these skills are what helps whatever they learn in CSC to now apply it to real life situations. So these are the key concepts of comprehensive sexuality education. Actually, this topic is like wants us to have a background of what CSE is, and so it will now be able to answer the question that should it be in the curriculum. So these are the key concepts of CSE. It talks about relationships. It talks about rights, values, rights, culture, and sexuality. It talks about understanding gender. Okay, I'm a girl. You understand what is peculiar meaning a girl. Understanding gender, then violence, staying safe of violence, gender-based violence, skills. Like I said, acquiring skills for health and well-being, coping skills, the human body and development, sexuality, understanding what your sexuality involves, and sexual behavior, then sexual and reproductive. These are the key concepts of CSE. It is comprehensive, like in comprehensive sexuality education, but the focus of this is not to give us an overview of what CSE is, and then we think that in the curriculum. Now, adolescents and young people, they are a special set of people. I actually call them the powerhouse of the powerhouse. I liken them to the powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria. They drive a lot of change. They drive a lot of change because they are critical. Would I say critical? I say they are very powerful people because of the type of energy that they exert. So they need and they have the right to comprehensive information about their sexual and reproductive health. And this is not being talked about. It's our responsibility primarily. Shy away from the fact that, because of the settings, the affecting in an African home, you didn't talk about sex, about, all those things. Like some of us that grew up in African home, tell us all this, you know, life is evolving, don't want to shine away from the young people. So they need and they have a right comprehensive information about sexual and reproductive health. And this, like the video we just watched, talking about two young two young girls. One had access to sexual CSE, comprehensive sexuality education, and the other did not. You all knew what happened, what is the end result of that. And build them and help them to navigate this very critical stage of their life and make them come out to be better adults, better outcomes for young people. So this right, it only relates to the Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 3, which speaks to good health and well-being. So, and these project is also trying to, try to raise awareness about SDG. So this falls under the SDG 3. 3.7 is specifically aims to ensure universal access, irrespective of age, to sexual and reproductive education and the family planning for all. And the CSC also empowers youth to make well about their life. It makes them to align with the goals aligning with the goal of achieving health equity, which is ensuring that people of all ages live healthy. And these are, why healthy societies need sexual education. We want to produce healthy youth. We want to help in growing up. We want them to have access to reliable information because from the video of those two young girls, one had, both of them actually had access to information, but one had access to reliable and good and credible information, while the other had access to information that is not because of people hide. The parents don't want to talk about it. The teachers too, they feel that this young girls, these young boys should actually learn it from their parents at home. And the parents is also saying that they will learn it in school. So there's a gap. Then also safety, well-being. Safety, well-being, better society. Is it good? Does it work? Comprehensive sexuality education, does it work because we have to go that does it work? And how can we make it happen? And these are the importance of the CSC. So early education helps to prevent misinformation. Like the video we watched, we just finished watching. You can see that the one had access to information, even though it was misinformation. So early education and the use of CSC, comprehensive sexuality education, can actually help to prevent misinformation. It can also empower students to make informed and safe decisions as it's of their sexuality. Then it addresses physical, emotional, and social aspects of sexual development, and it promotes gender equality and reduces sexual violence, because someone that is well informed will be able to take proactive sexuality, their sexual life. And these are the benefits of CSC. Let's take a look at some of the health indicators. There's a general, let me say misconception. It's a misconception actually that that when a young person or is an adolescent is being guided with comprehensive sexuality education, it makes them to engage in risky sexual behavior because they now know about sex, they now do this, but it's actually a misconception. It is not true. The truth is, one of the benefits of comprehensive sexuality education is that it is actually reduces and the engagement of these adolescents in risky sexual behaviors because they are well informed, such as unprotected sex. They know that if they have unprotected sex, these and these are the likely consequences of that action of unprotected sex. Then can lead to unintended pregnancy, then unsafe abortion, which has actually contributed to maternal death that we have. So research has shown that students who receive CSC are less likely to engage in risky sexual behavior. Walk with me. Let me show you some of those statistics across some countries. We'll see that very soon. So CSC helps to delay sexual activity, and also, just in case when the students are already sexually active, they know what to do. It increases the use of contraceptives and make them self-aware. Then it also improves academic outcomes. Students who feel confident and supported in their personal lives, they perform academically, they perform better academically because they focus, they are not distracted. They are not distracted. They are not thinking of, oh, I'm pregnant. What do I do? They are not thinking of, oh, So then it also reduces the rate of unintended pregnancy, which makes students to actually stay in school. Then it also improves public health outcomes, such as STIs, HIV/AIDS, the incidence of HIV/AIDS, the incidence of teenage pregnancy, and that means that we have the healthcare cost is reduced because the burden of the financial burden of unsafe abortion is actually very high. Then we also have improved societal outcomes. So this is like a graph showing us what is obtainable in some of these countries. Like I said, look at Netherlands, Sweden, and Finland, where they have well-established CSC in their curriculum. Look at the outcome of HIV prevalence. Look at what we have we can compare to South Africa. We can compare to this South Africa and these other countries. They have emerging programs. Then look at sub-Saharan African countries like where Nigeria falls. You can see they're still red. We have high incidence and prevalence of HIV, high prevalence of HIV because we are supposed to see as we emotional intelligence. And like I said earlier, that coping skills, it helps students to understand boundaries. Even when they are in a relationship, they set boundaries. They understand feelings. They know that this is this is my body. I have to protect what happens to my body. I don't have to be to be pressurized to have sex if I don't want to have sex. So here's the global.
I can't hear you. I don't know why. I think your voice was lost. I couldn't hear you.
Okay. This is the global perspectives to comprehensive sexuality education, where I just try to highlight some of the countries that have established CSC programs already, like that has been shown in the graph. You can see Netherlands, Sweden, and Germany. the result is that they have lower rates of teenage pregnancy and STIs, with students reporting higher level of sexual well-being and confidence. They are able to identify, and then it also helps in gender equality and inclusion. And it's actually, they have better sexual and reproductive health outcomes. So these are countries with emerging CSC programs. And also Nigeria, let's take a case study of Nigeria. We've had issues where CSC has been, partially, and the implementation has been inconsistent across states. We have it as FLHE, Family Life and HIV Education, where, it's just focuses on, it's not really comprehensive enough as to what should be integrated into school curriculum. So these are some of countries that have success stories where they were actually battling with, like South Africa, they were battling with high HIV rates, and they actually integrated CSC into the curriculum, where they focus on HIV prevention, healthy relationships, and they've been able to achieve goals like, reduction in HIV, the prevalence of HIV/AIDS in those countries. Then what does UNESCO, the global guidelines, it promotes CSC as part of the strategy to achieve SDG. We are back to the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly as it relates to health and gender equality, as we have mentioned earlier. So what are the concerns and challenges? Why has it not been embedded in the curriculum? These are some of the concerns and challenges. We have cultural and religious sensitivities. We have, resistance from parents, community, even policy makers. Certain topics are forbidden. They should not be talked about, like contraception, sexual orientation. They are controversial topics. And, we in a conservative society, like what is obtainable in Nigeria. And these are some of the concerns and challenges that has been faced over time with incorporating CSC in the curriculum. So, and we keep advocating, and we keep speaking to stakeholders, advocating, policymakers, advocating for, critical stakeholders as to why this CSC has to be incorporated into the curriculum, fully comprehensive sexuality education. Then parental concerns. Parents will fear that, okay, the CSC, like I said, that it can encourage early sexual initiation, but research has shown that it is not true, or it could expose these children to inappropriate content. Remember, one of the core components of CSC is that it should be age appropriate, and these are what we have to look at if we indeed want to fully incorporate CSC into school curriculum. So, also lack of teacher training and resources. There's a need to actually invest in capacity building, up-to-date teaching and training and retraining of teachers that would be delivering this CSC in schools. They have to be taught. There are guidelines. Then also another is resource limitations, which is what we face as low and middle income country. We face resource constraints such as trained teachers, government funding. They are not funding CSC programs enough. Then we also have limited time in school curriculum. Schools, they are more concerned about mathematics, science, English, leaving little time for CSC. Should actually be something that, is very important, because it actually speaks to overall health and well-being of this adolescent. And this can even when it is good, when it is better, it helps them to stay in school. Then there is also a challenge of fitting CSC into, we have a lot of packed school schedule. We have, we don't want to compromise and have buy-in. We need the buy-in of the government to actually make this dream come true. Then community and social resistance. Some community members in some of the communities, we talk about one of the core principles of CSC to fit into society norms, to fit into society members that are somewhat very conservative may actually oppose the introduction of CSC. They view it as threat to societal values or the family structure. So there's a need to see that is also part of the principle, and we would not even tamper with societal norms, with society values. We will place it in high esteem while delivering CSE. The misconception, misinformation, stigma, you don't want to talk about sex, nobody wants to talk about it, and young people. How will they learn? Social media spaces, they're there. The social media are there, they are all there, and there are adult content that they should not even have access to on the social media. And they are there, all this social media, and they are consuming this adult content unfiltered. And here we want to bring to them, comprehensive sexuality education, talk to them about, what it is that they should understand about their body, and to help them navigate through life. So now, in conclusion, we can now make an attempt to answer the question that we started off with. Should comprehensive sexuality education be a mandatory part of the school curriculum? Do you want to look at, the benefits, how it outweighs whatever emotions, feelings that anybody, might be coming in with in the issue of comprehensive sexuality education, taking into consideration the core principle. So that is why we need people, teachers, educators, parents that would be taught training and retrain. They will be equipped with the skills to deliver CSC appropriately. It should be age appropriate. It should fit the context or the cultural norms. It should be comprehensive enough. It should actually be friendly. It should be safe space friendly, and it should be gender sensitive. And what we've mentioned earlier. So I would be rounding up on this note that where do we go? Going forward, what are we going to be doing differently to improve on all the indicators that I've mentioned, the outcome, the sexual and reproductive outcomes of adolescents and young people? So it's actually important for us to keep advocating, to keep educating stakeholders, who is who, policymakers, where, they understand the concept. There's a need for them to understand this concept of the CSC so that they will just, accept it. And the answer is, I know the answer by now. We all know the answer. It should be a mandatory part of school curriculum. It should be something that, we learn. We learn a lot about our body parts. We should also learn about our private part. It's part of the anatomy of the body. And we cannot shy away from the fact that this is a major problem of adolescents and young people. So Before I conclude, I want to, if I have opportunity like this, I talk about my story. I named it my evidence for sexual and reproductive health policy on this project, where the where adolescents thrive. That's too, which is a sexual reproductive health and rights school advocacy drive, and the goal is simple. The goal is to create a safe, supportive, inclusive school environment for adolescents so that they will thrive and they can thrive and reach their full potential. So, I'm sorry. The call came in. So here is my C for SPA story. So the capstone project is targeted at in-school adolescents. It is titled Adolescent Thrive. It's a sexual reproductive health and rights school advocacy drive. And I will be reaching out to some schools in Ekiti State, where I'm currently the state adolescent health officer. And I would be impacting the life of these adolescents and young people. And the focus is on prevention of unintended pregnancy and unsafe abortion. I want to discourage that. I will be using peer-to-peer method because of the sensitivity of this topic. I'll be reaching out to training peer educators, adolescents themselves, doing that work in a safe space. There's a safe space that goes on in all public secondary schools in the Ekiti State at the moment, supported by Agile. Agile is the World Bank project. And I would be leveraging on this safe space session where they have it once in a week to actually educate these students, and they go back to the safe space to discuss this. So it's going to be a peer-to-peer education method to deliver the project. And also I will be training some of their teachers, their counselors and teachers that they can actually confide in, training them on comprehensive sexuality education. And these teachers will also help to cascade this training to these in-school adolescents. And from there, we leave a footprint even long after the project timeline. When the project is gone, at least we have teachers that have been empowered, they have been trained, they have skills to deliver on comprehensive sexuality education. So I just said I should actually ship these in. This is my C for SPA story. And so what are the next steps? I think I've discussed this. We have to keep advocating. Who are we advocating to? We are advocating to policymakers, critical stakeholders, high-level stakeholders that can actually help us in the education sector, in the health sector. There has to be synergy to incorporate and to introduce CSC fully into the school curriculum, where everywhere, anywhere you find yourself talking about it. And then what are the outcomes? We know the outcomes already. We've discussed that. Better sexual and reproductive health outcomes, where we have reduced prevalence of HIV, where we have reduced unintended pregnancy, unsafe abortion, HIV/AIDS, STIs, and having to actually have adolescents who grow up to be adults who are well informed, who are all around, whose well-being, all around, and health is better. They have better health outcome. So I thank you for listening. Thank you for having. I want to say a big thank you to Instride Pathways, their youth-led organization, Youth Foundation. Thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you for having me and for the privilege. I don't take it for granted. Thank you, and God bless.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Bolumi Sikwe, and I'll be making this presentation on SDG 17, Partnership for the Goals. So what is SDG 17, or what are SDGs before I go to SDG 17? So the Sustainable Development Goals are a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure peace and prosperity. It was initiated by the United Nations in 2015 to replace the Millennium Development Goals that was initiated by the same United Nations before the SDGs. And these things were put in place to make the world a better place. So, an overview of the 17 SDGs. 17 SDGs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 17, right? The first 6 rather, is talking about ending poverty, hunger, and improving health, especially in less developed countries like Africa or maybe India, or countries in Africa or other third world countries in places like South America that are poor. So this 1 to 6 is focused around ending poverty and improving health in those places, right? While we also have SDG 7 to 12, which is talking about protecting the environment and promoting more sustainable energy and economic growth, right? Then we have SDGs 13 to 17, which addresses climate change. But for today, we are especially talking about SDG 17, which is about partnership. And there's nothing you can achieve in this world without partnership, which is why SDG 17 is, I like to refer it as the mother of all SDGs, because to achieve anything, you need to partner with people. Like they say, nobody is an island of knowledge, or no man is an island. So through partnership, we can achieve other SDGs. That's why SDG 17 is really, really important. Why do partnerships matter? So collaborative efforts magnify impact. What do I mean when I say collaborative efforts magnify impact? Collaborative efforts magnify impact in the sense that through collaboration or through coming together, we can achieve something bigger. It's like building a house. We know the bricklayer plays a very huge role in building a house, but the bricklayer needs the carpenter, the bricklayer needs the laborer, the bricklayer needs the painter and other people in order to make that house building successful. The bricklayer cannot build the house on his own, because the bricklayer may not be able to roof the house. That is where the carpenter or other professionals in charge of that area come in. So SDG 17 is, for me, is the most important SDG, because you cannot achieve anything alone. Now, there are 6 main components of SDG 17. We have finance, we have technology, we have capacity building, we have trade, policy and institutional coherence, right? And all these come together as components of SDG 17, because the SDG is talking about bringing our resources together, joining everything together to achieve something. It's like cooking jollof rice. So let's say finance is like pepper, technology is like granite oil, or as we locally call it, ororo. Capacity building is like tomato. Trade is like onions. Policy and institutional coherence is like water, right? You put all these things together to successfully prepare your jollof rice. So all these components need to come together for us to be able to achieve the goal of SDG 17. Finance, you need money to finance whatever project you are working on. Technology will help you facilitate whatever project you are working on, at least modernize it to today's standard. Then capacity building is all about equipping people with the necessary skills, or bringing people together that have the necessary skills that will help you attain what you want to achieve, or achieve what you want to achieve towards the SDG or towards the goal of the project, right? Then trade is all about exchange. Most projects that don't involve in trade, or that don't generate income for themselves, right, tend not to survive for long. That is how to sustain. You see, sometimes when people build things like hospitals for their community, even if the hospital is for free or maybe a token, they still look for a way to generate income through that cheap or free hospital they built for the community, because that income will help the hospital continue to exist. They need light, they need to maintain the facility, and it's not every time they'll keep going to the donors to help them do those things, right? So trade is a very key component of SDG 17. Policy and institutional coherence, that is, policies must be put in place, right, to maintain the standard of whatever project you've worked on, with SDG 17 as a guide. You must put the necessary policies in place. The policies you use to handle a hospital shouldn't be the one you use to handle a restaurant if you sell food, or a local restaurant. Let me leave you. A hospital is supposed to be kept clean. A hospital is supposed to have the qualified health workers around and the rest. So you need to put all these things in place for whatever project you've tried to build through SDG 17 a success. So these components are very, very key. Like I said, they are like the ingredients you need to cook your jollof rice. SDG 17 is like the jollof rice. Then components 1, finance, to component 6, policy and institutional coherence, are your ingredients for a successful jollof rice you want to cook. Now, Nigeria's role in SDG 17, Nigeria ranks very low as a result of our economic problem or our economic challenges. We are not a country that is too rich. We are not as rich as America or Germany or some other top countries. And we don't have some of the infrastructures they have in place. That is why we rank low. And that is why myself, Mr. Bello, Mr. Adegoke, we are bringing this to you, the leaders of tomorrow, because we want to build you from your young age to help make Nigeria a better place, having in mind this SDG 17. We are trying to teach you how to collaborate with your friends, those in your church, those in your mosque, those in your community, to make anywhere you find yourself a better place. For example, I don't know Mr. Bello and Mr. Adegoke. I don't know any of them personally, but because of the message they are trying to pass, I came into this project. You understand? So it is in spirit of collaboration to make our country, Africa, and the world in general a better place. That is why we are bringing this message to you and teaching you about SDG 17, collaborating for the goals. Now, challenges Nigeria is facing 2 key challenges when it comes to SDGs. We are facing funding and capacity constraints, then we are facing policy and regulatory challenges. Funding and capacity constraints, like I mentioned earlier, because of our economy, we are not a country that is too rich. Things are going high every day. For example, the price you bought pepper yesterday is not the price you are going to buy it today. Sometimes you follow your mommy to the market and your mom is pricing. After the person that is selling has brought it down, your mommy is still pricing and you become tired. No, you may not understand, but the country is really going through a lot economically, and this is actually a challenge for those of us that are interested in these SDGs, because sometimes we need resources to help us build these things, and we need qualified people as well. Then when it comes to policy regulations, Sometimes our policies are inconsistent. The previous government could be there, maybe a different governor of Osun State or Lagos State or Ogun State, when handling these states, could put down some policies. Then when another governor come, the governor will just change it, and it will be affecting the whole thing, right? So these things need to be put in place. But aside these challenges, we also have a lot of opportunities to make SDGs work and to make our country a better place. One of these key opportunities is Nigeria's youth population. We have like 65% of our population below 18 years. Or let me not even say below 18 years. Like 65% of our population are youth. We are youth. We are very strong. We are very energetic. You sitting down there, you are very strong. You are very energetic. So it's very important you channel this your youthful energy into putting these SDGs in practice and putting good things in practice and trying to partner with some of your friends. You could volunteer for things like Red Cross, or maybe you don't have to even volunteer with any big organization. You could come together, some of your friends, take brooms from your house, go to the market and decide that, oh, every Saturday we are going to be sweeping these markets for these people. Just watch, when you sweep first Saturday, second Saturday, third Saturday, people will start noticing. And some people want to join you in doing it. It's just very simple. Right? Then strengthening regional integration is also a key thing. For example, some of us there could be Igbo, some could be Hausa, some could be Yoruba. There's no need to say, oh, this person is an Igbo person, I won't do anything with him. This person is Hausa, I won't do anything with him. No, you are defeating the aim of SDG 17, which is all about coming together as one, whether you are white, whether you are black, coming together to work together towards a common goal, which in this case is like the betterment of our country, Africa, and the world in general. So, like I said, was talking about partnership. I know we are young students, but this may sound strange to us, but I'll try to break it down. Some successful partnerships that the Nigerian government have tried to bring in include the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is a system of business that is trying to simplify business transactions amongst African countries and boost our economy, the economy of the African states. So in simply put, let's say you are Igbo, you are Hausa, you are Yoruba. These are different countries, but let's just use that example. You are Igbo, you are Hausa, you are Yoruba. Now, the government has created one market for us that we can all come together. The Igbo man will bring his Igbo fruits. The Yoruba man will bring his Yoruba fruits. The Hausa man will bring his Hausa fruit or Hausa food, and we'll sell it together over there in that market and make our games and go home happily, trade together. So that is what the African Continental Free Trade Area is trying to make possible for African countries in order to boost our economy. Then the US-Nigeria exchange programs. Yes, the United States, that's America, has been really supportive when it comes to these SDGs for African countries, right? They have introduced some youth programs like the Carrington Youth Fellowship, Mandela Washington Fellowship, to train some young people in Nigeria, which I have happened to benefit from one of those fellowships, to train them and to equip them with the necessary skills that will help them make the country and the continent a better place. So with that, I would like to just show us a short video that will help us explain what I've just explained, what I've just gone through now. Just a short video from Times Higher Education where they explain SDG 17 and what it entails. So let's just watch for these few minutes and enjoy the video.
Hello, My name is Duncan Ross, the Chief Data Officer at Times Higher Education. And we've heard about why each Sustainable Development Goal is important. From SDG 1, no poverty, through to SDG 16, peace, justice and strong institutions. Each takes a major aspect of sustainability and gives it the focus it needs. We can't have climate action without equity. We can't have equity without tackling poverty and health. And we won't tackle poverty and health without addressing climate change. The Sustainable Development Goals work best when they work together. And it's not just the goals that work best when they're united. SDG 17, Partnership for the Goals, expresses the importance of every part of society, everywhere in the world, to work on these most important issues. Agenda 2030 requires it. And this is one of the reasons why universities are crucial when it comes to sustainability. From their earliest foundations, higher education institutions have played a key role in disseminating knowledge, in working with governments, and in educating students from across the world. Universities will, of course, continue to act internationally, collaborating with their peers across the world, but especially those in lower and lower middle income countries. We can't address sustainability from within artificial borders. Climate change does not respect national boundaries, and it will affect us all. And unfortunately, it will affect the poorest parts of the world first. But that doesn't mean that those of us in wealthier parts of the world can sit back. It will affect us too. Higher education can be the glue that links together different elements of society. They are crucial actors that can bring together different perspectives and can demonstrate leadership across these multiple sectors. Working with other universities, with non-government organisations, with regional, national and international government, they can drive cooperation where others cannot. They can open our eyes to better ways of understanding and measure the impacts of climate change, and by working together, they can discover new mitigations and solutions.
So I hope you enjoyed that short video. And though it was talking about higher education or higher institutions working towards SDGs, and I understand why some of us are students of higher education, higher institutions, some of us are secondary school and high school students, but actually does not mean what he said about higher institutions, you can inculcate it as a secondary school student, partner with other schools, partner with your friends, partner with those in your church or mosque, partner with those in your community, and partner with people of like minds to help achieve the goals of these SDGs. And which other SDG represent partnership much more than SDG 17, which is partnership for the goals. So I have come to the end of my presentation, and I believe with the little we have taken here, we now have a different mindset or knowledge of what the SDGs are talking about. And I believe we'll put this into practice together and work for the betterment of our country and Africa and the world. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you some other time. Bye.